Hello, my name is Talon Wolf, and my senior capstone project, Empathy.mp3, is a psychedelic outdoor experience. Since the beginning of my coursework at Ferris State University, I have wanted to create something I have never seen before. Empathy reveals my strengths with environment design, texture authoring, material shaders, particle effects, and audiovisual storytelling. First, I needed a landscape, which I made with Jenga FX's GeoGen. The map is equally lower and higher altitudes with a large crevice near the center. All heights lead to this location. To cover the landscape, I created 5 tileable textures. The shader includes distance, height, and slope blending, plus texture and color variation to break up uniformity. Here are the 5 textures I created, all of which are made with Adobe Substance Designer. I use 4K normal maps and 2K for ambient occlusion, roughness, and base color. The shader comes with well over 100 adjustable parameters and custom map inputs combined. Each of the 5 maps are duplicated to make 10 maps, one set for the near view and one set for the distant view. With the texture variation node, I am able to reorganize the texture projection on a surface which plugs into the UV maps, some color adjustment parameters, and finally a blend of the near and distant views. These are the 2 templates I use to blend all of the layers together, which are based on either a world-aligned blend or a slope mask blend. After importing the landscape and materials, I wanted to get all player character functions out of the way. To add to the dream space, running speed and jump height are randomized every time you activate them. There's an audio spawn system to add wind around the player. There's also functionality to control the game's psychedelic intensity or to shut it off. The environment models were made in Autodesk 3ds Max. I made an assortment of rocks, trees, grass, ferns, flowers, and mushrooms. To quickly create a variety of shapes, I used an animated modeling technique. A modifier stack is applied to the initial mesh, and I animate a bunch of different properties over time to create more ideas much faster. Textures for the models and everything else in the world were created with Adobe Substance Designer. I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could use only tileable textures and shader math to effectively apply materials to my world. With tileable textures, I could make more nuanced changes within a material shader. The only exception is the foliage atlas, while still made with Designer, is not tileable. After finishing the textures, it was time to apply the material shaders. I wanted nearly everything to recognize when the player was around, in a way feeling like nature wakes up as you approach. My first shader was intended for just the first set of trees. It accidentally became a blanket material for almost every asset with enough parameters to have endless customization. The UV map scale can be controlled manually on top of dynamically resizing based on the object's scaling, optional texture variation, and optional distance blended emissive properties, as well as per map color correction features such as contrast, brightness, or intensity. The grass and foliage atlas shaders are similar in spirit, but with the addition of subsurface customization. Moving into visual effects, the style for them meant to feel organic and intriguing. The effects have an emphasis on distortion, color changes, and particles. This distortion cloud consists of one material shader and one particle system. The system mostly just pumps out some large particles and applies some forces. The heavy lifting is within the material shader. A whole lot of spaghetti on screen, but to summarize, I take a map I made in Photoshop, duplicate it, give it some movement, do various arithmetic, mask it, add some noise, and add functionality so particles can dynamically impact parameters. Elsewhere, you can find this floral tornado. This consists of 3 material shaders, 3 particle sprites, and 2 particle mesh systems. The distortion you can find near the center of the tornado is the same as the cloud, but with different parameter values. The other 2 shaders are adjustments to the flower petal materials with added particle dynamics. This effect's name is Sisyphus. This is made of 2 material shaders, 1 particle sprite system, and 2 particle mesh systems. One shader is the rocks, the other for the distortion, which is inspired by the cloud shader, just built a little differently. These psychedelic goggles, this shader is applied to a sphere and attached to the player's head. It adds intermittent color-changing waves that distort the player's vision. The intensity of the effect and the brightness of the colors are always shifting. Using one of the mushroom textures, height and normal maps, and some shader spaghetti, I created something that feels very reminiscent of a hallucinatory effect. Also made some of these cute fireflies that fly and float around the lake. and some snow that adds to the visual interest of the environment. To light the environment, I utilized a sky dome with a shader, a skylight, atmosphere, volumetric cloud, and exponential height fog. For the cotton candy sky, I use one map, separate and give each channel their own movement, combine them back together in one map, and add parameters to control the sun's luminance. To wrap it up is the audio. I designed all of the sounds and made the composition with Ableton Live. To create a dream sound, I knew there needed to be an emphasis on reverb, delay, echoes, and subtle distortion. I wanted the different areas to have a different vibe. Areas with extra bass is meant to feel heavier, deeper, more intense. Areas with higher frequencies are meant to feel lighter, curious, and playful. To maintain a cleaner, more consistent mix and master, I composed everything in one project. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the breakdown of Empathy.mp3.